Raider Nation, good morning, and today, hopefully, is a great day that finishes with the silver and black having the number one overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. I don't know about you, I'm waking up this morning, and I'm freaking ready to go. I got 5 games that if you bleed silver and black, you better be watching today. So if you want to know what the Raiders rooting guide is on Sunday, you're in the right place. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be live later on today. Raiders-Giants going to be must-watch. But also, we just had Christmas. You don't already want to be on the naughty list in 2026, though. I think Darth Fatass is probably already going to be on it. To make sure that you're on the nice list, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications, please. I need as much good vibes as possible today here on the Raiders Report. Let's go to the very first game that if you bleed silver and black, you better be watching. It's the most important game. And all of the teams that you're going to see on the left side, NYG at LV, that's the team you should be rooting for. You should be rooting for the New York Giants. And the reason why this is such a big game for the NFL Draft, you got the Giants who are right there at number 1. The Raiders right there at number 2. Both teams have 2 wins. Both teams fighting for that number 1 overall draft pick, and it's why we're going to be going live on the Raiders Report. Listen, man, I know that Max Crosby's been shut down. Jeremy Chinn's been shut down. Brock Bowers has been shut down. Colton Miller has been shut down. This season feels like shit, man. I can't wait for it to be shut down. But you can make everything right by losing this game and finding a way to get that number 1 overall pick. I know this is a big game for the silver and black, but it's also a big game for me at Chat Sports. I'm going to be going up against our Giants host, Marshall Green, who's got one of the most loyal fan bases here in the company, one of the most loyal fan bases on YouTube. If you're planning on showing up and showing out, make sure you type Real One down below. I need to know who I can count on. Let's go to the second most important game that Raider fans need to be watching and rooting for. You better be rooting for the Cleveland Browns up against the Pittsburgh Steelers because I know it's a home game for Cleveland. Yes, the Steelers are right now that number 4 seed, and based off how that playoff game ended up going yesterday with the Chargers up against the Houston Texans, as you can see, the Texans ended up jumping the Chargers, and I'm happy that now the Chargers are sitting there at number 7 because that's a lot more of a difficult matchup than where the Steelers would be at number 4. The only other team that can make the playoffs is the Ravens. Now, again, based on the time that I'm filming this video, we don't know if the Ravens are going to win or not. I don't know if they do. It is what it is. But to me, I'm looking at the AFC playoff picture. And what I know is that the Browns can beat the Steelers. It's an interdivision game. It's an AFC North matchup. And if the Browns can find a way to win, that's huge. So make sure you're rooting for the Cleveland Brownies. Coming up next here, more games that you need to be watching for today. And again, if you don't know who to root for, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you who you should be rooting for today if you want the Raiders to have that number 1 overall pick. Before we get into the other 3 games that are really important today for Raiders fans, if you don't already know, today's show sponsor, it's PrizePicks. It's the holiday season. It's the best time of the year, and it's also the best time of the year to go get started with PrizePicks because maybe your fantasy season is over. Go get a lineup in. Maybe your favorite team season is over. Go get a lineup in. Download the PrizePicks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. The reason, though, I wanted to show you my lineup for today, I took advantage of Picksmas, which was like the big deal that they had. Nikola Jokic, he obviously put up, it was like a crazy game. It was like 56 points. He's like the first player in basketball history with, 15 boards? It was like a triple-double stat with 56 points. I know it's crazy, but I don't cover the basketball. This is my lineup, though. I'm rooting for Jackson Dart today. I'm rooting for Jackson Dart to have himself a good game. Now, you will notice that I have Theo Johnson in my lineup. PrizePicks has already canceled that for me, which I'm kind of happy about because I meant to do a 14.5 receiving yards, and I realized it says longest reception. Tyrone Tracy, Jackson Dart. I'm rooting for the Giants to take care of business against the Raiders. which is why I got my PrizePicks lineup in. And you guys, if you want to roll with me, you can do it. The link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. There is a reason why PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app, and I'd love for you to give them a try. Let's go to the third game that's the most important for Raider fans out there. It's the New York Jets up against the New England Patriots. Before you say, there's no way the Jets are going to beat the Patriots, I just want you to remind you how week 1 went. And the craziest thing that I think that happened in the season this year is the fact that the Raiders beat New England on the road. But again, it's an interdivision game. It's kind of a funky game. You never know how these games are going to go. Do I think New England's going to win? Yeah, I do. But I'm going to be rooting for the Jets because if the Jets can find a way to win, it helps the Raiders out if, God forbid, they do end up beating the Giants or the frickin' Chiefs in Week 18. Let's go to the fourth most important game for Raiders fans. It's you rooting for the Tennessee Titans up against the New Orleans Saints. What's kind of funny is this game I remember looking at a few weeks ago. And I remember being like, man, the Titans, the Saints, they're both going to be around 2 to 3 wins. And here we go. Since then, Tyler Shuck has been balling out. And the New Orleans Saints have been balling out. They've been able to win a bunch of games in a row. As you can see right now, 5-10, sitting there at that 8 spot. But for the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets, they're sitting right around that in that exact same spot. Now, you could make an argument. Now, some of you are going, well, Mitch, why are the Jets ranked a little bit higher than Tennessee? The reason why I actually put the Jets game as the higher priority is because that's going to be a team that's interested in a quarterback. So if you're the Raiders, we're sitting here going Fernando Mendoza, sitting here going Dante Moore. The Jets are sitting there going, well, we traded Sauce Gardner for 2 first-round picks. We traded Quinnen Williams for a first-round pick. So with that being said, the Jets are the team that I'm a little bit more concerned about because that's going to be the team that ends up trading up for a quarterback if a quarterback isn't taken #1 overall by the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go to the fifth most important game today that fans need to be watching. It's the Arizona Cardinals on the road up against the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know the Bengals have been struggling of late. I know Arizona's been struggling. But this is going to be another one of those football games where I do think the Cardinals can win. The Bengals have not been playing solid football. And if you're the Raiders, the worst-case scenario for you is for you to beat the Giants and for you to beat the Chiefs. If you win both of those games, you could be picking at number 7. This season, to be picking at number 7, I'd rather pick my nose. I'd rather pick somewhere else instead of picking number 7. So when you look at the NFL draft order, think about the games that are the most important. But by far, the teams that Raider fans should be rooting for. You should be rooting for the New York Giants. You should be rooting for the Cleveland Browns. You should be rooting for the New York Jets. It's more important for the Jets to win, in my personal opinion, than the Tennessee Titans. And then you should be rooting for the Arizona Cardinals. I know this video is a little bit straightforward, but the amount of times I got asked over the week during the holidays, hey, Mitch, what are the most important games for Raider fans this week? I think it's because of how important the Raiders and Giants game is. And it feels like it's a playoff caliber game. And if you are bleeding silver and black, I expect to see you live here on the Raiders Report, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be a ride.